So far in our game, what we've got is we've got a ship that can rotate around and it can fly when I press forward or when I press W in the direction that it's pointing, and it also bounces off of walls. The next thing that our game needs is we would like to add a little bit of sound. And to be honest, adding sound is actually as easy as adding a picture. So if we go into our code, you can see this is the setup for our ship right here. And I'm going to put my sound in this spot as well. So we need a name, a variable for our sound, and I'm going to call mine bounce. What I'm going to have is I'm going to have a sound that plays when my ship hits a wall. It's going to sound kind of goofy, but it's just to show you how this can actually be coded in Pygame. So we'll say bounce equals pygame.mixer.sound, and note that that S has to be capitalized. And what file do we want to import? Well, just like with the pictures, we need to have a sound file in the same folder as the Pygame file that we're working on. And right here I have a file called oddbounce, and if I right click and go properties, you can see that it's a .ogg file. Sometimes MP3 files will work, sometimes WAV files will work, but Pygame works I think best with a .ogg file. It supports it. So this thing is called oddbounce with a capital O. So what's my file name? It's oddbounce.ogg. And that is the file that I'm going to be importing into this variable called bounce. Now in order to get this sound to play, we first have to find when we want it to play. So if you look down here, we actually want our sound file to play whenever our ship hits a wall. And so where's our code for the ship hitting a wall? Well, right here, we're calling walls. And inside our walls function is where we decide whether we've hit a wall or not. So I'm going to go up here to our walls function, and it says it bounces an object off of the walls. So we're going to say right here, if we've hit the left or right walls, then we want to reverse the speed and we want to play the bounce sound. So all we have to do here is say bounce.play. And now it will play our bounce sound. And as well here, we can just say bounce.play. Now if I have my bounce.play just inside our function, let's say I put it right here, then what would happen is every time walls gets called, then our bounce sound would play. I only want it to play if I hit one of the side walls or if I hit one of the top or bottom walls. Okay, so let's see if this works. So here's my ship, and here I go towards a wall. You can see it played, and again here, hit a wall, and if I hit near two walls, you can see it played twice there. Now, I think the sound sounds kind of dumb. It doesn't really fit with the game, but I just wanted to show you the general idea of how to get a sound to play. Now let's say I didn't like the volume of the sound because there were a bunch of other sounds in the game and I wanted to make it a bit quieter. All I would need to do for that is I could say bounce.set_volume. And now I just have to set the value of its volume, and that is any number between 0 and 1. So if I set it to 0.5, that means it would be playing at 50% its original volume. So if I run this again and I run into a wall, you can see that's half as loud as it was before. Now another note about these sound files, don't steal them from someone off of the internet. So I just went to freesound.org and I looked for a free public domain sound file that I could use, like Bounce. And there's a whole bunch of free ones in here. You can just click on sounds right here in this tab, or you could just search for a certain kind of sound. And each sound will tell you whether it's free to use or not. Okay, so be respectful of other people's work. And lastly, if you want to set up multiple channels so that you can play multiple sounds at different times or at the same time, that kind of thing, and manage them separately, that is definitely possible to do. All you have to do is read the Pygame Mixer documentation, and you can see there's a whole bunch of stuff right here, and there are examples. Just do a search for Pygame Mixer, and it'll be the first thing that comes up. Okay, so I hope that helps you get some sound into your programs.